There's a quiet corner behind your house that you probably haven't thought much about. Maybe it's where the grass grows unevenly, where the wind hits hardest, or where things get stacked for later and forgotten. But in Feng Shui, that overlooked space carries a different weight. It holds the energy of long-term support, hidden protection, and wealth that lasts. And the way you treat it could quietly shape your peace of mind, your family's financial stability, even your sleep. This isn't about superstition. It's not about rituals or beliefs. It's about how living things, like certain trees, interact with space, light, and energy flow. Every home breathes, and the back of your house is like its spine. Strong, supported, you feel stable. Exposed, cluttered, or dry, life feels just a little harder, more reactive, less restful. And yet, so many people miss this. In today's video, we're going to talk about 8 specific types of trees that, when planted behind your home, do more than provide shade or beauty. These trees are quiet protectors, energy filters, subtle wealth holders. They don't bring overnight miracles, but over time they change how your home feels, how your body rests, how your thoughts settle, not with noise, but with balance. Maybe you've been feeling drained, like your efforts aren't sticking. Maybe your home feels fine, but something's just off. Before you look outside for big solutions, I invite you to look behind your house, behind the everyday noise. That space, when tended with care, can become one of the most powerful parts of your life. Let's explore which trees to plant, how to place them, and what kind of energy they hold. You don't need a big budget or even a green thumb. Just a willingness to pause and see that the back of your home might just be the beginning of something new. Part 1: When your backyard feels exposed or drained. Number 1. Banana tree. Sometimes the back of a home tells a quiet story of what's missing. Maybe it's just a patch of dry grass, a fence weathered by time, or a stretch of space you walk past but never really feel. But have you ever noticed how certain parts of your home feel more tired than others? A little too hot in summer, unusually drafty in winter. Like something's always stirring the air just enough to keep you restless. That's often the space behind your house. And it's not just about design, it's energy. And it's where the banana tree comes in, not as a decoration, but as a deeply rooted solution. The banana tree isn't flashy. It won't win awards for elegance or bring in compliments from your neighbors, but it knows how to hold space, to cool a corner, to soften the parts of your home that are constantly exposed, whether to sun, wind, or the invisible pressure of life moving too fast. In Feng Shui, the back of the house represents support, legacy, and accumulation. It's not where energy enters, it's where energy settles. So if that space is too open, too harsh, or simply forgotten, your home becomes unbalanced. Your body may rest, but never really recharge. You may feel like you're trying hard, yet always one step behind. Banana trees offer a rare kind of protection, not the kind you see, but the kind you feel. Their broad, velvety leaves move with the wind, not against it. Their soft, water-filled trunks absorb heat, dampen noise, and shift the quality of air around them. They don't fight energy, they filter it. That's a powerful gift, especially in homes where the backyard faces open land, busy roads, or where there's no natural barrier between you and the outside world. It's like giving your home a quiet shield, one that works even when you forget it's there. Think about how many times you've walked out the back door and felt the sun hit too hard or the air feel dry, sharp, unsettled. Now imagine stepping into the same space, but there's a row of banana trees in the corner. You feel shade, yes, but also a softness, like the air knows how to hold itself better, like your breath can finally land. That's what the right plant in the right place can do. It changes not just what you see, but how you feel. But this isn't just about comfort. It's also about financial and emotional stability. Many homeowners who have planted banana trees in the rear of their home, especially in diagonal corners or near areas that feel too exposed, report more than just better airflow. They talk about fewer unexpected expenses, fewer emotional swings, a home that feels easier somehow with less resistance in day-to-day life. It's not magic. It's alignment, and that's the key. Because while banana trees are powerful, they are not for every space. You should never plant them near the front door or main entry. Their yin-rich nature, which is calming and stabilizing, can become stifling when placed in areas that require movement and interaction. They belong where things need to slow down, not speed up. And they need room, not just to grow, but to breathe. Placing them too close to windows, especially bedroom windows, can make a room feel heavy. But when thoughtfully placed, they become a natural filter between your inner world and the outside noise. One of the most remarkable things about banana trees is how little they ask for. They don't need perfect soil. They don't need constant care. They thrive in warmth, but they're not delicate. And they grow fast, sometimes faster than we expect. Which is fitting because the peace they bring also arrives quietly, then suddenly feels like it's always been there. If the back of your home feels restless, too hot, too loud, or simply too exposed, it might be asking for softness. Not in the form of decor or renovation, but something living, something with presence. The banana tree offers that softness, not through show or noise, but by simply being what it is, a natural buffer, a silent shield, a space holder for steadiness. And maybe you've been holding a little too much yourself lately. Responsibilities, worries, things no one else sees. What would it feel like to let your home help carry some of that weight? What if planting a banana tree in just the right corner could ease your mind? Not with words, but with wind, leaf, and breath. You don't need to redesign your backyard. You don't need to buy expensive solutions. Sometimes the most powerful shift begins with a quiet question. What part of my life has been left unprotected? If your answer points to the back of your home, then the banana tree might be exactly what's been missing. Number 2, Areca palm. There's a reason traditional homes in the tropics often had palms standing quietly in the backyard, not because they were trendy, not because someone read about them in a magazine, but because people back then understood what we're slowly remembering now. The space behind your house holds more than air. It holds your foundation, and if it's not protected, neither are you. If your backyard feels like it leaks energy, if your nights don't feel fully restful, or your days feel scattered and hard to ground, there may be something missing behind your home, something subtle, something structural, and often it's not a wall or a fence, it's rhythm, it's breath. It's a quiet, vertical presence that knows how to hold stillness and strength at the same time. The Areca palm offers that, not just as a plant, but as a stabilizer for your space and for your spirit. Tall but never overbearing, soft yet strong. The Areca palm doesn't block energy, it holds it. Think of it like a spine for your home, creating an upright, flowing connection between ground and sky. When planted in a row behind your house, especially in spaces that feel open, bare, or too exposed, it becomes more than greenery. It becomes a silent framework of protection. And the difference it makes isn't just visual, it's energetic, it's emotional. Many homeowners describe a subtle shift after planting Areca palms, especially when they're spaced evenly, like gentle sentinels watching over the back of the home. They say the house feels calmer. Routines become steadier. Distractions feel less disruptive. Financial worries don't disappear, but they lose their edge. Why? Because the space finally has a boundary, not one made of stone, but of life. In Feng Shui, lasting prosperity doesn't come from what enters the front door. It comes from what stays, from what doesn't get lost in the wind or drained through the back. And the Areca palm is a master at holding that energy in. Its slender, upright shape allows air to circulate freely while preventing harsh winds from cutting through your home's energetic spine. It softens everything, light, motion, even mood. But its real magic lies in how quietly it works. You won't hear it hum. You won't see it bloom extravagantly. But one morning you'll realize your home feels more held. Your mornings aren't as rushed. You might notice fewer arguments, or that the air inside feels just a little easier to breathe. These aren't coincidences. They are responses to stability. Unlike high-maintenance trees that require pruning, fussing, or constant checking, the Areca palm asks for very little. It prefers light, but not direct, scorching sun. It loves open soil but doesn't need anything fancy. And when you place it intentionally, it becomes a partner, not a project. Especially for smaller backyards or homes with limited landscaping space, this tree brings maximum impact with minimal demand. But placement matters. Planting just one palm can help, but planting them in a steady rhythm, evenly spaced along your backyard's edge, creates a flow. Think of it like stitching together a torn fabric, each palm mending part of the space until the whole area holds itself again. You're not just growing trees, you're growing a pattern of protection. A rhythm of energy that says, this space is cared for, this space is safe. If you've been feeling like your life is full of small leaks, lost time, forgotten goals, scattered focus, the answer might not be doing more. It might be about anchoring what's already here. The Areca palm doesn't promise sudden change. It doesn't ask for belief. It simply stands. And in that standing, it reminds your home and you what it means to be steady. So before you buy another storage bin or add more decor to fix what feels off, step outside. Look behind your home, feel the air, listen to what it needs. And if it's asking for structure, for softness, for silent strength, the Areca palm might be exactly what's missing. Not as an ornament, but as the quiet spine of your space, holding you every single day without saying a word. Part 2, if money slips through your fingers. Number 3, Polyscias. Sometimes the money comes in, and just as quickly it's gone, not in big disasters, not in reckless spending, just small things, little repairs, unexpected fees, groceries that cost more than last month. And you find yourself asking, where did it all go? You're not careless, you're not extravagant, but somehow it always feels like you're patching leaks in your budget, in your energy, in your peace. When that feeling becomes familiar, it's time to look not just at your finances, but at your space. Because sometimes it's not what you're doing wrong, it's what your home isn't holding. And that's where the Polyscias tree comes in. Quiet, understated, almost invisible to anyone who doesn't know what they are looking for. But if you've been feeling drained, financially, emotionally, or mentally, this tree might be the quiet gatekeeper your home has been waiting for. The Polyscias doesn't attract wealth, it protects it. It doesn't flash or flourish, it filters. It's not here to make a statement, it's here to stop the silent energy leaks that so many homes suffer from without ever realizing it. Think about how many times you've looked at your bank account and thought, I thought I had more. Or how often you felt tired without cause, emotionally frayed without drama. That's the energy this tree is designed to anchor. Its leaves are dense but soft. Its form is modest yet dependable. And its energy is one of quiet guardianship, planted behind the house but slightly off-center, never directly in line with a back door or main airflow. The Polyscias acts like a refined doorman, not blocking energy but observing, sensing, deciding what comes through and what shouldn't. It's a filter, not a fence, and that's the nuance. Because in Feng Shui, not all plants are meant to invite. Some are meant to hold, to contain, to make sure that what you've worked for doesn't slip out through cracks you can't see. Especially in households where the back of the home opens wide, where wind moves fast, or where people come and go constantly, the energy becomes porous. And what's porous eventually drains. Homeowners who plant Polyscias behind their house, especially during times of transition, stress, or financial instability, often notice that things slowly begin to calm. The drama fades, expenses shrink, sleep deepens, arguments lose their heat. It's not dramatic, it's not sudden, but it's noticeable. Because when energy stops leaking, life becomes easier to hold. This is especially true for women in midlife and beyond. You've held families, jobs, relationships, memories, many of which have asked more of you than you ever expected. And maybe now you're looking for spaces that hold you back. Not just hold you up, but hold you in. Give you room to breathe, but not to drain. That's the kind of space the Polyscias creates. And it does it so gently, with soft leaves that rustle in the breeze but never shout. With a subtle scent, earthy, barely there, that feels like an exhale after a long day. When the wind brushes past it, the air smells cleaner, quieter, like the house has found its rhythm again. But placement is everything. Don't put it right at your entry points. That blocks more than it helps. Let it sit a little to the side, just enough to feel present but not overpower. Let it listen to the flow of your home. That's where it does its best work, in the margins, in the subtle spaces where energy either escapes or stays. If you felt like your home is busy but not grounded, if your finances are flowing but never pooling, if your mind is full but never rested, look behind your house. Look to the corners, the quiet edges. Is there a space that could use a gentle guard? Not a wall, not a warning, just a whisper of protection that lets your effort stay where it belongs. The Polyscias tree doesn't ask for praise. It doesn't need pruning rituals or special soil. It simply asks to be placed with intention. And in return, it watches over your energy like a trusted friend. Always present, always quiet, always there to say, you don't need to hold everything on your own anymore. Sometimes the most powerful shifts happen when we stop trying to invite more and start protecting what's already here. The Polyscias doesn't promise riches, but it does promise steadiness. And for many of us, that's the most abundant feeling of all. Number 4, lucky bamboo. You've probably seen lucky bamboo in homes, stores, maybe even tucked in the corner of someone's desk. It's simple, clean, quiet, but what most people miss is this: lucky bamboo doesn't shout its power, it absorbs, it guides. And in homes where life has felt unpredictable, where routines have changed or peace has been harder to hold, it becomes a silent ally that brings things back into place. If you've ever said, "I just want things to flow again," then you already understand the role of this plant. Because sometimes it's not that something is wrong, it's just that things aren't moving. Energy gets stuck, fatigue lingers, decisions feel harder, you're doing everything right, but it still feels off, and that's exactly where lucky bamboo shines. Not with noise, not with force, but with alignment. Its shape tells the whole story. Upright, slender stalks with small, reaching leaves, nothing tangled, nothing twisted. It grows in segments, like steps. One piece supports the next. It never rushes, it never clings. It simply rises softly, steadily, gracefully. And when you place it behind your home, especially in spaces that feel too empty or too open, it does something remarkable. It gives your energy a direction again. That's the real gift of lucky bamboo. It doesn't bring fast fortune or loud transformation. It brings coherence, structure without pressure, growth without burnout. It whispers to your space, "Let's move again." Not in circles, not in chaos, but upward, forward, gently. For people entering new chapters, after retirement, after grief, after children have moved out, there's often a sense of emotional float, like something is unmoored but you can't quite name it. In those times, planting lucky bamboo is like placing your hand on the small of your back and saying, "I've got you. Let's take the next step." Its energy is especially helpful for women in midlife who are rebuilding rhythms, not racing toward goals, just trying to feel steady again. Lucky bamboo also helps soften harsh transitions. If your home recently went through a renovation, a relocation, or even an emotional shift, this plant helps reintegrate the flow. It takes fractured energy and slowly stitches it together again, through repetition, through symmetry, through the quiet strength of growing toward light. The best way to plant it: in small clusters, always in groups, never alone. One single stalk has no rhythm, but several together begin to hum. Their roots, even when unseen, begin to communicate. And the energy they hold spreads gently through the back of your home like a ripple on still water. If your backyard feels too large, too disconnected, or too quiet in a way that doesn't comfort you, lucky bamboo brings unity. It makes space feel held again. Avoid placing it right against windows or in full sun. It prefers gentle light, the kind that arrives without fanfare, and never overwater it. Its roots like to breathe. Like you, they thrive in balance, not extremes. Some people like to tie red ribbons to the stalks. Others hang small wind chimes nearby, not for luck really, but to help the plant speak. To give it voice so its gentle rhythm isn't lost in the noise of everyday life. That's how it begins to change your space, not just as a symbol, but as a conductor of flow. Over time, you may not notice the moment it starts working, but you'll feel it in the way your mornings settle, in the clarity that returns after a conversation, in the quiet confidence that you can move forward again, even if slowly. Lucky bamboo doesn't fix your life. It simply aligns the energy around you so your own efforts land with more grace. If you've been feeling like life is moving but not with you, like you're doing the work but the momentum isn't building, try stepping outside. Walk to the back of your house. Ask yourself, where is the energy supposed to go? If you don't have an answer, that's okay, because Lucky Bamboo already knows. It doesn't need permission, it just needs space. Plant it with intention. Place it where energy can gather, not too close to a doorway, not too far from the heart of the home. Let it rise quietly. Let it hold your hope. Let it teach you that strength doesn't always push. Sometimes it simply listens and grows. The truth is, some blessings don't arrive with celebration. They arrive as calm, as steadiness, as one green stalk reaching upward, reminding you that you're still growing, even now, even gently, even here. And that is more than enough. Part 3, when your mind feels scattered or unfocused. Number 5, Bay Laurel. There are days when your mind feels like it's in too many places at once. Not because you're doing too much, but because your thoughts just won't land. You walk into a room and forget why. You reread the same sentence twice. Your to-do list sits there, untouched, not from laziness, but from a kind of mental fog that quietly takes over. When your home is organized but your head still feels cluttered, that's not a personal flaw. That's energy, scattered, unfocused, and in need of an anchor. And that's exactly where Bay Laurel comes in. Bay Laurel is not a showy tree. It doesn't bloom brightly. It doesn't demand attention, but it has a presence, a quiet, rooted steadiness. And for people who have spent a lifetime giving, managing homes, caring for others, navigating change, it offers something rare, mental stillness without stagnation. It doesn't slow your mind down, it centers it. So if your thoughts feel like they are pulling in a dozen directions, this tree gently reminds them where home is. Its leaves have long been used in ancient rituals for protection, clarity, and wisdom, not because of superstition, but because people notice something very real. When this tree grows near a home, things feel clearer. Conversations flow. Focus returns. Children study better. Adults speak softer. It creates the kind of space where thought becomes action, not rushed, not reactive, just intentional. That's what Bay Laurel does behind your house. It holds the space for quiet growth, for decision-making that feels grounded, for mornings that don't start in a rush and evenings that don't end in exhaustion. It brings a kind of mental alignment that's hard to describe but easy to feel. You may not know exactly when it starts working, but you'll know when it's missing. Plant it where it can breathe, where sunlight filters through leaves, not scorches them, where the air moves but doesn't overwhelm. This tree needs light, not too much, not too little. It mirrors what it brings to your life, balance. And when you care for it, you're not just tending a plant, you're tending your own clarity. The Bay Laurel is especially powerful for women who have spent years multitasking, adapting and navigating invisible emotional labor. It offers a space to exhale, to let your mind move in a straight line again. Not because everything is done, but because everything doesn't feel so urgent. It's a tree that supports the kind of success that doesn't wear you out, the kind that builds over time with grace and quiet strength. One of the most unique things about Bay Laurel is how it blooms. It doesn't rush. It doesn't bloom just to be seen. It waits for the right time, the right light, the right environment. And when it finally blossoms, it does so with the kind of elegance that doesn't need an audience. That's the metaphor it brings into your life. That success, real success, doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be aligned. For those working from home, returning to school, caring for grandkids, or stepping into new personal chapters, this tree becomes a quiet mentor. Not because it tells you what to do, but because it reminds you that clarity isn't something you chase. It's something you create when your environment supports your focus. And Bay Laurel does just that, gently, reliably, patiently. But don't force it. Don't plant it in a corner that's too dark or soil that's too dense. It doesn't thrive under pressure, and neither do you. Give it space to grow upright and steady, and it will do the same for your inner world. Think of it not as a plant, but as a steady hand on your shoulder, reminding you that the fog will lift, the mind will clear, and the next step will come. So if you've been feeling mentally scattered, If the noise in your mind is louder than the world around you, step outside. Look to the back of your home. Ask yourself, where could I use more focus? Where could I invite stillness, not silence, but meaningful calm? That's where the bay Laurel belongs, because sometimes the answer to mental chaos isn't less noise. It's more grounding, more green, more living reminders that the mind doesn't need to rush to be wise. And if you're ready for that kind of wisdom, the slow, steady, whispering kind, then this tree may be exactly what your space has been missing. Not as a cure, but as a companion, a guide, a gentle return to yourself. Number 6, olive tree. Some trees don't ask for your attention. They don't bloom to impress or grow in a rush to prove anything. They simply stand, season after season, weathering time with grace. The olive tree is one of those rare companions, and if your life has been marked by change lately, new roles, shifting relationships, unexpected losses, it might be the one quiet presence your home has been waiting for. There's a specific kind of tired that doesn't show. It's not physical. It's the kind that comes from years of holding things together, being the one who adjusts, the one who stays calm, the one who keeps going even when no one's looking. If you felt that, if you're feeling it now, the olive tree is not just a plant, it's a mirror and a balm. Planted behind your home, this tree doesn't energize, it grounds. It doesn't spark quick change. It offers long, slow, dependable peace. Not because you've given up, but because you're finally ready to live at your own pace. The olive tree has been revered for centuries, not just for its fruit or its oil, but for the emotional stability it brings. In Feng Shui, it's considered a nourishing wood, a tree that doesn't just sit in the background, but slowly weaves its calm into the lives around it. Its leaves are soft, matte green, never glossy, never screaming for light. Its trunk, if given time, thickens with subtle strength. The older it gets, the deeper it roots, not just into soil, but into space. And that's exactly what it does for your home. It roots into the energy field, quietly, faithfully. If your house has felt unsettled, after illness, after downsizing, after a divorce, after children have moved out, the olive tree helps restore a sense of emotional shelter. Not by covering up the past, but by giving it space to rest. It turns your backyard from a forgotten corner into a place of quiet resilience. A space that doesn't need to be filled, but simply felt. This tree is especially meaningful for those thinking about legacy, not just finances, but emotional legacy. What will your children remember about the way you lived? What kind of home will you leave behind, not in bricks, but in tone? Olive trees are often passed down for generations, not because they are rare, but because they last. And in their lasting, they teach. They teach that patience doesn't mean passivity. That steadiness isn't the same as stillness. That peace isn't the absence of conflict, but the presence of emotional maturity. These are not the fast lessons of youth. These are the deep lessons of time. And if you've reached a point in your life where quick fixes no longer satisfy, this tree speaks your language. But it's not for everyone. The olive tree doesn't bloom for those who rush. It doesn't respond to neglect. And it can't be forced into beauty. It needs light, but not harshness. It needs space, but not isolation. It asks for presence. The same way your own peace of mind now asks for care. Not noise, not urgency, just consistency. Planted in well-draining soil in a place that receives morning sun and afternoon rest. Let it grow alongside you. Let it show you what it means to flourish without performance. You may not notice its gifts at first, but over months, maybe even years, you'll start to feel its presence. In the way your mornings feel less rushed. In the way your conversations soften. In the way your home begins to feel more like a sanctuary than a space to manage. The olive tree doesn't bring more to your life. It holds what you already have and helps you recognize its value. If you've ever said, "I just want things to feel easier again," or "I need to rebuild but gently," then this is your tree. Not to fix, but to frame, to surround your life with calm intention. Step behind your house, stand in the quiet. Ask yourself, what part of my life needs to root deeper? If you hear even a small whisper of truth in your chest, listen to it. The olive tree doesn't need attention, it needs time. Just like healing, just like you, Because maybe the real gift isn't changing your life fast. Maybe the real gift is learning how to let life grow slowly, peacefully, and with presence. And if that's what you're ready for, the olive tree is already waiting. Part 4 if you're ready for a shift but feel stuck. Number 7. Dracaena, lucky Dracaena. Some moments in life feel like standing at the edge of something new, but the ground won't move. You've made the plans, you've done the healing, you're saying all the right things, and yet nothing's shifting. It's not that you're lost, you're just stuck. If you've ever felt like life is waiting, but not quite opening, then you're already in the space where Dracaena, often called lucky Dracaena, belongs. This isn't the plant for people chasing overnight change. It's for those who are ready, who have paused, processed, and now feel something rising inside, quietly asking, what's next? But that next step won't come through force. It comes through flow, and that's exactly what this plant holds in its form, its shape, its spirit. Dracaena grows in segments, not rushed, not sprawling. Each part rises gently, supporting the one above it. One node, one stalk, one steady upward breath. And this is more than just botany, it's a reflection of how energy moves when we stop pushing and start aligning. If you place this plant behind your home, especially in the east or southeast, it acts as a gentle amplifier. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply directional. Its tall, upright form draws energy upward, especially helpful when you felt emotionally flat, indecisive, or disconnected from momentum. It becomes a vertical current in your space, reminding your body and your mind that rising again doesn't have to be fast, it just has to be clear. Dracaena is especially powerful during transition points, after retirement, after kids have grown, after a long period of survival mode. It doesn't judge how long you've been paused. It simply begins again every day in small, visible steps. That's the energy it shares with your home, a quiet nudge, a soft, let's go. And the beauty of Dracaena isn't just in how it grows, it's in what it reflects back to you. If you care for it mindfully, you'll begin to notice something. When its leaves are healthy and vibrant, you feel more decisive, more rested, more you. But if its tips begin to yellow or its stalks droop, it's often mirroring something within your space, an imbalance, an internal fatigue, or energy stuck in loop. The plant won't speak, but it reflects, with honesty, with grace. This is what makes it different from decorative plants. Dracaena is a communicator. It works best when you check on it, not obsessively, but with presence. Wipe its leaves, gently adjust its light, and in doing so, you're not just helping it thrive, you're helping your home listen. Unlike more demanding plants, Dracaena thrives in simplicity. It likes gentle light, not harsh sun. It needs moisture, but not flooding. And it appreciates space, but not isolation. Think of it like a new rhythm you're creating, one that's not based on productivity or performance, but steadiness. In a way, caring for Dracaena becomes a soft ritual, one that teaches you how to tend to your own restart. Many women find that placing Dracaena in the rear corners of their home, especially near workspaces, meditation nooks, or transitional doorways, brings a sense of quiet motivation, not pressure, just ease. They describe a subtle opening in their schedule, an unexpected conversation, a decision that felt stuck now feeling clear. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. And sometimes that's all we really need. Not a full renovation, not a life overhaul, just one thing in our environment that says, you're allowed to begin again. Not in a rush, but in rhythm. Dracaena does that by simply growing faithfully, slowly upward. So if your life has been paused in that in-between place, where you've let go of what was but can't quite reach what's next, maybe don't ask for answers, maybe ask for movement. And if so, this is the plant that shows you how. It won't push, it won't demand, but it will hold space for your next version, for your next thought, for your next quiet breakthrough. Dracaena doesn't symbolize luck in the way people expect. It won't drop surprises at your door, but it will clear the fog that kept you from seeing what's already waiting. That's its luck. The luck of flow, the luck of clarity, the luck of finally rising, not fast, not forced, but fully present, ready. And sometimes, that's the only shift we've needed all along. Number 8, cluster fig. Some trees don't scatter, they gather. They don't stretch out to claim space. They lean inward, They hold what they grow close to their core, and if you've ever wished for a sense of wholeness in your home where luck doesn't just visit but stays, the cluster fig might be the tree your space has been missing. This isn't a common backyard choice. You won't find it in modern landscape catalogs or trending Pinterest boards, but in homes where abundance feels fleeting, where effort is high but returns seem inconsistent. The cluster fig shows up not as decoration but as a keeper of fortune. Quiet, rooted, intentional, its energy is steady and protective. The way it grows, thick trunk, heavy canopy, fruit held close to its bark, reflects a kind of emotional intelligence that's rare in nature. It doesn't give everything away, it gathers, it holds. And when placed at the back of your home, especially in a corner where energy feels scattered or unfocused, it becomes a living anchor. One that keeps wealth, not just financial, but emotional, relational, close, safe, and stable. If you've ever felt like good things come and go too quickly, if you've built a beautiful life but still wake up feeling like something is slipping through, this tree responds in silence. Hold what matters closer. Cluster fig is especially helpful for families. Its energy is that of a provider, but also of a protector. It's known in traditional energy work as one of the fortune consolidators. That means it doesn't necessarily bring in new opportunities, but it ensures that what does come your way stays. It nurtures loyalty, deepens connection, strengthens family lines. That's why it's especially beloved by those running small businesses, working freelance, or navigating income that comes in waves. This tree doesn't just absorb energy, it stabilizes it. Many homeowners report that after planting a cluster fig, clients return more consistently. Financial dips even out. A sense of momentum slowly replaces the old push-pull dynamic. And it's not just money. There's a health energy to this tree as well. For households with children, elders, or emotionally sensitive family members, the cluster fig creates a calm, protective field. Its presence softens agitation. It absorbs the static tension that lingers after arguments or stress, not by blocking it, but by neutralizing it. That's a subtle kind of power most people don't expect from a plant, but it's real, and it's deeply felt over time. Where you plant it matters. If your goal is to protect wealth, plant it firmly in the rear of your home. If you want to draw helpful people into your life, shift it slightly to the left side. And if you're focusing on career growth, consider the right side, often associated with forward motion and action. But wherever you place it, respect the space. The tree should have room to breathe, not be crammed into corners or wedged between objects. It thrives in open, meaningful placement, just like the values it reflects. One word of caution: do not plant it too close to your house or bedroom windows. Its roots grow deep and strong, and over time they can affect foundations if not given enough space. That too is a metaphor. Everything powerful must be planted with awareness, with intention, with space to grow fully, without unintentionally pressing on what's too delicate. Caring for the cluster fig is simple, but sacred. Let the leaves stay full. Let the fruit form without interference. You're not managing it, you're partnering with it. Its message is clear. What you've been building is worth keeping. Let's keep it steady. Let's keep it home. If you've reached a point in your life where more isn't the goal, but enough is, and you want it to last, this is your tree. It won't chase, it won't dazzle, but it will hold you. It will hold your home, and most importantly, it will help you hold on to the blessings you already have. Step outside. Stand where your backyard meets your story. Ask, where has my energy been scattering? What have I built? That's ready to stay. You don't need a dramatic change. You just need a place to root what's already meaningful. The cluster fig doesn't promise sudden wealth, but it offers lasting alignment. And sometimes that's exactly what wealth becomes: the ability to keep what's good, quietly, fully, without fear that it'll fade. Maybe you came to this video looking for something small. A tip, a tree, a way to bring in more wealth or fix a space that felt off. But what I hope you found is something deeper, something quieter. A reminder that the space behind your home is also the space behind your life. And when we tend to it with care, with thoughtfulness, with intention, things begin to shift, not just outside, but inside too. Each of the trees we explored today isn't just a plant. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a quiet way to speak to your environment and in return let it speak back to you. Because your home is not just a structure. It's a living, breathing field of energy, and it holds everything, your choices, your fatigue, your love, your effort. When you plant with clarity, you're not decorating, you're restoring balance. And when the back of your home feels supported, so do you. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. Even planting one tree with presence, with heart, is enough to begin rewriting the way your home holds you. Because wealth isn't just about money. It's the ease in your breath, the steadiness in your mornings, the warmth in your relationships, and all of that begins with energy that stays, not energy that slips away. If you've listened this far, thank you, truly. It means you're someone who's not just surviving, but gently choosing to align, to grow, to live more deeply rooted. I see that, and I honor that. So whatever season you're in, whether you're rebuilding, restoring, or simply resting, I wish you softness in your home, protection at your back, and blessings that stay longer than expected. Your new chapter doesn't have to start with noise. It can begin with something small, something green, something quietly alive, just like you.